Welcome back to Not Real Fishing, everybody, and today we are going to the creek. We have Tenkara gear set up, and I don't know if you can tell, but I'm still a little sick. So there was a sickness that went through our household. It wasn't COVID or anything, it was just like some weird sinus infection. I ran a fever for like 4 hours, but I've just had like massive drainage and it felt like crap ever since. I did go fishing weekend before last and I didn't catch anything, which is why there was no video. I literally went out to the pond, the food line pond. I fished there for about, I don't know, an hour maybe, 45 minutes. No, it was about an hour and a half. I think it was about that long, and I didn't get a single bite. I saw a couple minnows, but I didn't actually see any fish. Like no little bluegill swimming around, nothing. And yeah, so I got Jack Dilly squat. And I'm currently heading to the creek because that's where we're gonna go fishing today. And I wanna ask you guys a question. Now, I don't openly talk about this. I mean, if you're close with me, like part of my family, you probably know this about me. And it's just something recent that's been going on. And I've been hesitant to talk about it on the channel because I don't know the proper, like, not response, but maybe I'm just worried about the judgment of it. But I've recently, in the past year and a half maybe, started having really bad anxiety. And I never really had it that bad until after I quit drinking, because I drank really heavily for a period of my life. And when I quit, well, I had an anxiety attack, panic attack when I was drinking. I woke up one night, my heart was thudding, couldn't slow my breathing down. I thought I was gonna die, so I called the ambulance. Ambulance showed up. They gave me fluids, took my vitals, said, dude, you're fine, just breathe. And I don't do any marijuana either, so it wasn't anything like that. So it wasn't like that. It's just, but recently in the past, like, I don't know, within the last month and a half, it's like it's gotten worse. And I know they say stress is a big part of it, but like, that's the thing, is I don't feel stressed. It's only like when I'm going to go do something, or like when I'm leaving the house or anything like that, it's like, it's when it gets worse. So like right now on the way to the fishing spot, I'm excited to go fishing, but I'm also nervous because I'm nervous I'm gonna get there, and then as soon as I hit the water, I'm gonna have a panic attack. And the reason why I say panic attack and anxiety attack is, for me, my anxiety attacks that I've had in the past are something that, like, it's mental. It's like, I'll think about it, I'll get worried about something, and then I can just take a few deep breaths and it goes away. And those originally started whenever I started having my GERD symptoms. I would breathe in and it would be kind of uncomfortable, and it would be sharp pain in my chest. So I thought I was having heart attacks. And I didn't know that it was GERD at the time. So I didn't know what was wrong with me. So I ended up going to the doctor, and that's when he told me that I have GERD. And he gave me medicine, which made me have to quit drinking, which I kind of asked for one specifically that wouldn't let me drink while I was on it. So it kind of forced my hand to make me quit. And I've been sober for probably 2.5, 3 years now, maybe 4. I haven't had any alcohol at all, not even like a glass of wine, nothing. And oh, excuse me. And I miss it at times because, you know, it helped the anxiety when it comes to social gatherings. And now that I don't have that, social situations definitely do make my anxiety worse, but not my panic attacks, which the most recent one I had is kind of the one that's kind of jump-started me back on this train. Is I was at Costco picking up prescriptions for my mom, and out of nowhere, everything like got super hyper focused. My heart started thudding in my ears. I felt short of breath. I was freaking out. And so I tried, of course, I made the mistake, apparently, you know, from what I've read online, is I made the mistake of trying to slow my heart rate when you're having those kind of symptoms. Whereas you originally, what you want to do is try to lean into those symptoms and just let them ride out, and actually try to jack your heart rate up more, I guess, in a way, when you're having a panic attack, because it's your body's fight or flight response kicking in. And if your body wants to run, let it run. But I can't just start running around in circles in Costco. I look like an idiot. So I was like, you know, I'll just try doing some deep breaths. And I did my deep breaths, breathing, trying to calm it down. And it didn't go away, and it got worse. So then I started taking more deep breaths, couldn't get my heart rate to slow down. Everything got like super blurry and yet super focused at the same time, to the point that I pretty much had to leave Costco, couldn't catch my breath, sat down outside, couldn't slow my breathing down, was like, what is going on? And then I ended up calling an ambulance, because I was like, okay, maybe this is something different. This feels different. I've never experienced this before. Let me call the ambulance. So I did. They got there, they took my vitals. They said, you know, your heart rate's a little elevated, but we notice it goes up more the more you look at your readings. So once they turned the heartbeat thing away from me and I was able to like try to gauge it on my own, it did start to go down. So they said what they think it is that I was dehydrated, which is what caused the spike in my heart rate in general, which then brought on the anxiety attack, because I was worried about my heart because it was different than usual. And then I guess from me trying to breathe so much that I hyperventilated, which is why my fingers went tingly and numb, and then all that stuff. And all that happened to what seems like a blink of an eye. And it's like, it's one of those things where if you've never experienced it, it's really hard to explain, because it's not like you're worried about anything. You're just sitting there, and then all of a sudden it's like this feeling just washes over you, and you're like, well, what's going on? I feel off, and then you start focusing on why do you feel this way, then you start feeling tingly, and then you start freaking out, so then you start breathing, and it's like this vicious cycle. And it's like, every time I think about that day, it gives me like a feeling of, is this gonna happen again? And it's really disconcerting whenever you feel like you can't trust your own body to do anything. And I know this is a really long intro. It's just something I've been wanting to get off my chest for a while. And it's really hard to explain how it happens. And like, the thing that's the worst part about it is, when it's happening, you know it's just a panic attack. Just breathe, it's fine, it'll go away, it'll pass. But it's like you can't stop your body's response. And I've seen people online talking about it, but for me, it's like, they say the same thing about the heart thing is what it is for them too. It's like out of nowhere. It's like if I even feel my heartbeat, like if I'm just walking and I put my arm on my chest or something, I feel dun 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 dun. I'm like, why is my heart rate so fast? And then automatically it starts. And it's like, I know, I just don't think about it. But it's like, how do you not think about something that's literally like, by not thinking about it, you're thinking about it. It's like if I say teddy bear, you're gonna picture a teddy bear without thinking about it. So I'm trying to deal with the symptoms, which is part of the reason why I've been a little off on the channel. All right, guys, let's try to climb this stuff and see if there's anything over here worth catching. So the water level's a little bit higher than it was last time we came here, but not much. So what we're basically going to do is just slowly make our way down here. I'm trying to keep my heart rate down, and like, it's so frustrating because it's like, I want to get out and do stuff, and then when I do, I feel like I feel worse for doing it. But it's stuff that I love doing, and it's like I have to try to decide, do I want to risk dealing with symptoms, or do I want to stay home and play video games all day where I know that I'm safe? And it's kind of annoying. So I think we're gonna, unfortunately, no matter what I'm saying here, we're gonna have to go further down because it's still really shallow up here at the front. And and the water is crystal clear. I don't know if you guys can see it, probably not. Here, see if I can get a good top-down view for y'all. The water is very, very clear, but there's no activity in this little run. There's one little deep spot over there that I can't quite see the bottom of that might have something in it, but we're gonna go down there hopefully after the bend. And of course now I have to pee, and maybe there'll be some stuff down that way. All right guys, this is the sweet spot. We're definitely gonna catch a fish over here. I feel it. I just know it. We may have to switch to a smaller fly because just got another hit, but no fish. Yeah, same thing there. Getting hits, but no hookup. All right, so let's change tactics, put on a smaller fly, see if we can't get us a little something something. All right guys, we're switching to this black body, and then it's got a little bit of grizzly hackle wrapped to the front, and it's got a small hook. I think it's a size 16, I think, or size 16 or size 12. I don't remember, but smaller than what we were just using, I know that much. Get off. So let's see if we can get us a little something. We're gonna leave it on top first. I'm just gonna stay crouched here for a minute because hopefully, I don't know if you guys can see anything though. No, you can't. So that means I need to squat a little bit more, but I'm letting it float on top of the surface first in the hopes that maybe I can get a top water bite. I don't know if you guys can really see it. I somehow highly doubt it, but this creek is really shallow, so there's not much difference between top water and subsurface. Oh. There we go. First fish of the day. Little old bluegill. Looky there. Ooh, you are cold, cold, cold. I like the way I got a thing to prop my rod on. I didn't even use it. Which way are you hooked? To the roof? Yes, you are. That was the problem, guys. Hook was too big. Very nice. Very little winter bluegill. We're gonna let him go. Bait size is what he is. All right, I'm gonna change my battery real quick and we're gonna get back to it. All right, guys. So what I was saying is I got this thing. It's like a rod holder thing. You're supposed to lay your rod in it and then it holds it in place. And so you don't have to lay it on the ground. And I forgot to use it because it's not part of my habit to do so. So yeah, We're gonna go back this way where we missed a few earlier, see if maybe we can... Ah, just got tangled up. But this current's a bit faster. See if we can get one to eat. Alright guys, we've made it to the final quote-unquote deep hole, and there's almost no water in here. It's the first time I've really been able to see all the way to the bottom in this spot. It's a little disconcerting in general with the water so low, but it does make me think maybe a lot of the fish have gone and joined the main river here. But if we don't catch anything else today, it's still a successful trip because we caught a fish. Make that 2 fish. Come here, little guy. I know one thing. Feels good to be back on the water. Use my little rod holder. Rod is held. Fish is tangled in bushes. There we go. A little dirty, but very, very pretty little bluegill. Look at the colors on them. Man, that's so cool. Let's let this little guy go. Just swimming in circles. Alright. Make sure our line is good. Everything looks good. See if we can get another one. Ooh, he hit a little bit harder. Still not real big, but... Oh no, come here, you're so pretty, I don't want to lose you. I got an open spot, I'm just gonna lay it down. A little bit bigger. Very pretty colors on him though. Look at that, they're like purple. I hope the camera picks up on that. Like, look how freaking gorgeous they are in the winter. Like, they just get such, like, they look dark from the top, but then they just light up on the sides. It's so pretty. Whereas in the summertime, they're like dark green and brown and red. But in the wintertime, they're like pearlescent, if that makes any sense. Really pretty. Catch them like that all day. I won't, but let's get a little bit closer. Fish the further end of that current seam. Oh, changing spots and got a fish. Come here, bud. Here, do me a favor, Tree. Hold that for me. Thanks. There we go, guys. Maybe there was one underneath that bank. Just wasn't looking for him. The minute I quit trying to catch one, I caught one. Another very pretty fish. Not quite. He's still got more of his summer colors than the other ones. He's got more green on him. Very pretty. For those of you who are new to this fishing spot in particular, I cannot get down to the water to release them because it is like a 5-foot drop straight down. Oh no. If you're new here, you may not know that, so just letting you know that's why I'm not crawling down there to release them. That, and apparently I'm notorious for being rough on my fish when I release them. Saw him come up and take it. Trying this thing, I'm not used to it yet. It's rod holder. I think it'd be easier if I didn't have so much line to manage. But another little guy. Nice little stripes on him. Cool looking dude, aren't you? Yeah, man, I'm cool. I'm a cool fish. Let me go. It's cold. Don't ask, okay? It's my first time fishing and probably... It's my first fish, I think, in over a month. Probably longer. Ah! Same piece of grass. Well, I think what we're gonna do now is we're gonna start working our way back up the creek and see if we can catch a couple that maybe we missed on the way down. Because I still gotta go home and make breakfast. And I got a meal prep. And I got a friend of mine coming over later to play Dice Throne. Don't know if you guys ever heard of that or played it before, but it's kind of like think of like, it's like a dungeon crawling. I have the Dice Throne Adventures and the Dice Throne versions. I've got season 1 and season 2. I don't have the Marvel one yet, but I do have season 1 and 2. And it's kind of like you pick a hero. They have cards and rolls. It's kind of like Yahtzee, where you roll specific, you try to get a specific combination that your hero has to make certain abilities activate, and then you use those to fight certain monsters or another hero, and they're trying to counter you with their own defensive and offensive abilities. It's really complicated to get into just talking right here, but once you start playing it, the people who designed it did such a good job with the layouts and stuff. It's pretty simple to pick up despite all the subtleties of it. They make it really easy to understand, even though it's a fairly complex game. But I mean, I grew up playing Dungeons and Dragons. We still have the original books that they wrote from, like the original Gary Gygax books from way back in the day, the 80s or 70s, whichever one it was. Oh, you're tiny. Come here, little guy. I didn't even know you were on there. Oh, you're all tangled up in the bush. Come here. Quit flopping. Come here. Well, here's the personal worst of the day. Oh, ain't he so cute? You got stuff in your eye. Look at him. Ain't he so weedle fish? He's pretty though. Pretty little fish. You're a good bait fish, what you are. And he's gone. He's looking at it. Come on. They don't swim away. Come on. Come on, little guy. Gotcha. Couple twitches and he was like, you know what? I'll try one more time to eat whatever that thing is. He's a little bit bigger than I thought he was. This is a different one that I didn't see down there. I'm all tangled up. Hey, buddy. You are short, stocky little dude. I don't know if you guys can see that, but he's got some little shoulders for a little baby bluegill. Look at them shoulders. Look how thick he is up top. Little tough boy. Look at you. Pretty colors on him too. Look how yellow that fin is. Pretty. Pretty, pretty fishy. I hate when they land sideways. I try to get it so they don't spin like that, but sometimes on the release they kind of twitch and it throws off the toss. Alright, let's do one more cast back. Oh, if I don't fall in the creek, back that way. Fish that little faster current real quick. And I think we're gonna fish the very front where it was really shallow, but I'm still kind of curious if anything is there. Some heavy current right there. Too heavy for me to see what's going on. Let's get to the far side. I don't mind fishing heavy current, but I gotta be able to see my fly. Alright guys, oops, sorry about that. Alright guys, we're gonna call it there. My nose is cold and I'm hungry. We did pretty good, all things considering that it's cold outside and the fish are very, very much turned off and also not really there. Last year when I went to this spot for the first time, it was in the winter time. I don't think it was this early in winter. I think it was later, so maybe like the creeks were fuller, so like they were starting to fill back up with fish and they were fired up, ready to eat. Whereas this year, it's kind of earlier in the winter time. It's kind of like, oh, I guess really, I don't know, dead winter? I don't know. I don't keep up with the seasons. It's just cold outside. That's all I know. And, you know, maybe that's got something to do with it. But I remember the first time I came to this creek, I was really surprised because I came down there with top water and they ate. Like, I caught a bunch of fish like crazy. And I was like, wow, this creek is amazing. I'm gonna come here every winter. And then I'm here this winter and it's kind of like, there's fish, but they're not eaten. But then again, that could be because they're getting used to my techniques and flies, or getting a little more hesitant on what they eat. But yeah, and also just going back to the anxiety thing I talked about in the beginning of the video. One of the main reasons why I really wanted to bring that up, I mean, I didn't want to bring it up, but I felt like I needed to. It's just, it's one of those things where I never even knew that kind of thing existed, and now that I do, and I know that it's not going anywhere, and I'm probably gonna have to deal with it the rest of my life, and there's nothing I can really do to change that, except hopefully find ways to deal with it. I mean, some people say it goes away for them, but I guess it's more if you manage it. And for me, it's like, I feel like it's only gonna go away when I quit thinking about it, which means I'm gonna have to find a way to manage it first. And then once I find a way to manage it, if I do have one every now and again, I know how to handle it, and then I'll quit having them less and less and less. That's how I look at it. But I just wanted to say, if you're one of those people out there who deals with it as well, and you just want somebody to talk to, I do find that it's easier to talk about it than just try to bottle it up and deal with it yourself. Because there's like a weird, it's almost like a feeling of weakness. Like, you know it's not weakness because it's your own brain fighting against you. But like, the people who don't understand what it's like, they just think that it's just like, you're sitting there worrying about it. Oh, there you go. You worried yourself into an issue. It's like, that happens for me maybe like 1 out of 10 times that I get it. 9 out of 10 times, it just comes out of nowhere. It's like a feeling. It's like a spidey sense from Spider-Man. His hair just stand up and it's there. And it's like, what the? And then once it's there, then you got to deal with it. And, you know, that's just how it is for me. So, but also the part of it is too, you're thinking about it all day long, worrying if it's going to hit you. Well, if I go do this, is this going to happen? If I go, is this going to happen? And then you get there and you're expecting it, and then at that point, you're kind of doing what other people are saying. You're kind of, you know, hyping yourself up. But at the same time, it's complicated. Like, it's so simple and yet so complicated. And I'm still figuring this out myself. So I wouldn't say don't come to me as like a prime example of, oh, here's somebody who's dealing with their, you know, panic attacks or whatever, because I don't think it's anxiety attacks. I mean, I guess there's not much of a difference other than, like, for me, it's like, I don't have anxiety of like stress and worry. It's just like, they just hit me out of nowhere. And it normally just starts like with my heart rate, and then it goes out of wild, and then I try to calm it down, and then I can't, and then it goes from there. But y'all heard that earlier, so I'm not going to repeat that again. But, you know, it's just one of those things where if it's something you're dealing with and you just need somebody to talk to, or you want, you know, you have similar experiences or whatever, and it just makes you feel validated to talk to somebody that may have something similar kind of situation that you do, hit me up on Instagram. It's the same name, Not Real Fishing. Or just, you know, well, I guess you could just leave a comment, but then it's kind of open to everybody, but it's up to you. But yeah, anyway, I'm at the house. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. I had a good time filming it this time because I actually caught some fish, and I got out the house for a little bit. So yeah, anyway, don't forget, like, comment, share, subscribe. But most importantly, guys, remember, take it easy.